accounting. Now we are going to see first unit number 4. Unit number 4 is liquidation and unit number 5 is a holding company. First we can go to the unit number 4. What is liquidation? Liquidation is nothing but closing of companies once the company is getting continuously huge losses. The company thinks that hereafter we cannot run the companies into the profit way. So in that situation, they decided or they want to close the company. So that is the termination of legal existence. We simply say winding up and liquidation. So meaning of liquidation is simply winding up of a company. The same meaning closing of companies or termination of legal existence of the company. Termination of legal existence of the company means company can be locked or unlocked. Today at the evening 5 o'clock they are closing the company, mean it is not the meaning of liquidation. But at the time of legal existence through the register of companies, legally they are closing the companies. Thereafter they cannot open, the assets and liabilities will be settled. So that is the liquidation. Okay, the company is being decided to liquidate. So what next? All the debts should be settled. All the debts means the company has borrowed from the banks. Company should repay to the creditors. Company should pay the dues to the government, the revenue department or revenue officials. All these payable amount should be settled. In case if there is any surplus amount after selling all the fixed assets and current assets, any remaining amount is kept by the company, means that can be shared in the proportion of shareholders and capital. So what next means all the credit should be or all the loans should be settled, and any amount due to the creditors or any bank loan should be payable, that should be settled. Then if there is any long-term borrowings, long-term credit or bank overdraft, all these liabilities in the balance sheet side, all the liabilities should be settled at the time of winding up. That is the liability side, or that is the payable by the company. That is the responsibility by the company. Number 2, next you take all the liabilities should be settled means in what way, where from we can get the fund. So the company is in a particular area, the company is having a lot of amount should be settled to the liability side, the peoples. Then the amount should be raised by the company. In what way means the company is having fixed assets and current assets. So money received from selling of all the fixed assets and current assets, they are getting the money. That money should be used or utilized to settle all the liabilities of a balance sheet. So if any remaining amount, that can be shared among the members. In what basis? In proportion of their holdings. Their holding means one member may have 10 shares, another member may have 20 shares. Based on number of shares, based on volume of capital they have invested, that will be taken as a proportion. Based on this proportion, the remaining amount should be shared among the members. So knowing the way in which the accounts are settled, this is, we simply say, liquidator final statement. Liquidator final statement says that all the receipt and all the payment, in what way they are rising or they are receiving the fund, in what way the received fund is utilized to settle the liabilities of a company. So this statement is simply say liquidator final account statement. Why we say liquidator final account statement? Who is preparing the statement? The liquidator is preparing the statement. Why he is preparing, or at what time he is preparing means at the end of the company's life or at the time of closing of the company, he is preparing. So simply we say final account prepared by the liquidator. So liquidator final account. Who may be the liquidator? Liquidator may be a lawyer or an auditor appointed by the court or members or creditors. So the liquidator is preparing the final account. So we are calling the accounts as a liquidator final accounts statement. Types of winding up. In what way the company is being wound up? So first we take compulsory winding up by the court. The court thinks that, our court is a legal opinion is that the company will not run, our company will not go towards earning the profit. It is better to close the company. So in that way, company is being assumed by the court. The court is giving the order to wind up the companies into compulsory. Second one, voluntary winding up. Voluntary winding up means they are engaging or arranging the board of directors meetings in annual general body meeting or in special resolution passed. Through that, they are taking decision to wind up the companies. Then members voluntary winding up. Creditors or shareholders or members of companies, they are deciding to wind up the companies. And creditors voluntary winding up, then voluntary winding up under supervision of the court. These are the types. First you take compulsory winding up. Why we take compulsory winding up? Based on special resolution report or based on statutory report. The company has not yet started within 1 year from the incorporation. Incorporation is a certificate given by the registrar of company, given by the ROC. So after getting the certificate from the ROC for incorporation, the company failed to start or failed to commence the business means it is taken for the winding up. Second, the articles says, as per the articles, the life of the company goes into end. So the article says that 15 years or 20 years written in article means at the end of the 20th year, the company goes for the liquidation. Then if it is, already, I think, private company minimum members need 7 persons and, public sectors, to start a public sector company, we need minimum members are 7. In case if it is a private means, minimum 2 members can start a private company. So less than 2 members means there is no legal formalities. So we conclude that less than 2 persons or 3 persons started a private company, 1 person died or 2 persons died means remaining only 1 person cannot run the private company. So he can go for winding up of a company. So these are the compulsory winding up, because statutorily we are taking it is not eligible to run the company. Voluntary winding up can be wound up voluntarily under the following conditions. What are the conditions or situation we say? By an ordinary resolution, articles is not allowing, or as per the articles the duration was expired. Articles provided winding up if any event has occurred, because as per the articles, if this type of event occurred means it is not eligible to run the company should be wound up. In that way, we have given some informations, legal informations, and that information is registered through the ROC. So based on the ROC statement, what we have registered there, that will be applicable. So ordinary resolution. Special resolution is passed by the members for winding up. Public by and, that means special resolution. Resolution is passed by members for winding up, because members are the owners of the private limited. They are arranging or they are convening a general body meetings. There they are taking special resolution. That resolution should be given advertisement in the official gazette and in newspaper, because that should be published. So that is a special resolution, voluntary winding up. Next you take types of winding up: members voluntary, creditors voluntary, and supervision of the court. These are the types of voluntary. Insolvency, not able to settle its debts. When the company is going for winding up means the company is continuously incurring huge losses. There is no case or there is no chance to make profit in forthcoming years. So in that situation, they are taking or they are coming to conclude that the company should be wound up. Then, so we have learned about what is liquidation, what are the types of winding up, who is liquidator, what are the purpose of preparing the liquidator final account statement. Now you take how the liquidator is appointed. One or more persons are appointed for conducting the liquidation of the company. Only one person, we cannot say only one person is appointed as liquidator. More than one person may be appointed in case if the members are interested or if the court decides to appoint the liquidator. More than one person is possible. Compulsory winding up means the liquidator will be appointed by the court. Members voluntary winding up, who will appoint the liquidator? Appointed by members after conducting the general body meetings. In case creditor voluntary winding up means creditor and member jointly appointing a liquidators. If there is any controversy between members and creditors, the final decision taken only by the creditor's decision. Creditor has taken, that will be the taken as a final decision. Functions of the liquidator. Realizing the assets. First, what are the functions? Why liquidator is appointed? Who is appointing the liquidator? Who may be the liquidator? That means eligible of liquidator. Then, what are the functions of liquidator? Functions was, first, the liquidator should settle all the liabilities. For that, they have to raise the fund from the various resources available in the company. So for that, functions of liquidator, first you take realizing the assets available in the company. What are the fixed assets, current assets available in a company that should be sold? From the sellings, they have to raise the fund. Number two, collecting the money due from contributors. Because all the shareholders, any few shareholders are failed to pay some of the amount. Rupees 10 per share means 5 rupees I paid. Balance I have to pay 5 rupees from my or out of my amount. My responsibility is up to 5 rupees because 5 already paid. So remaining amount I have to pay, otherwise the liquidator will collect from me 5 rupees. So in that way, the dues, anything from the members, that should be collected. So total amount, now amount from assets sold, then amount collected from the members due, then contributing amount realized for the settlement. This amount should be realized, should be used for settlement. So distributing the amount realized for the settlement. In what way we have to distribute? That will be seen in later. So distribution. First amount collection, then distribution. Third step is maintaining records for receipt and payment. In what way we prepared records, in what way we have settled. So all the received and the payment should be taken as a document, should be prepared as a record. So why they are preparing the records? To whom he has to submit? Here submitting records to all the members in case of voluntary winding up, to the court in case of compulsory winding up. First they are raising the fund, they are settling the liabilities, they are preparing the receipt and payment account that should be submitted to the members and also to the court. These are the functions of liquidator. Liquidator final account statement. Preparation of receipts and payments account using cash received from the realization of assets of the company, that is the liquidator final account statement. Order of payment. In what way we have to pay? Because there are, if you take the balance sheet, what are the people there in the life? Shareholders, preference shareholders, bank loans, OD, income tax, then employees contribution fund or dividend equalization fund, then creditors. All these peoples are in the liability side. In what way we have to settle this amount? Liquidator has taken decisions to settle the amount in the following ways. First, he has to take maximum amount received, secured creditors. Number two, legal expenses. Secured creditor means at the time of receiving the loan from the bank, we are giving our own assets as a security. So that is the secured creditors. In case we are getting a loan from for housing loan or for land loan or for any other loan, we are giving the gold as a security. Otherwise, we are giving bond of our land. So bond may be house bond or land bond may be given as a security for getting the loan from the banks. So these type of borrowers are secured creditors. Legal expenses, liquidation expenses and cost of winding, how much we have incurred the expenses for winding up. These are the legal expenses. Number three, liquidator's remuneration, because he is working for winding up of procedures, so the company should give remuneration for the liquidator. Payment to debenture holders and other creditors, because they are having the floating charges on the assets of the company. Then payment to preferential creditors, payment to unsecured creditor, because unsecured creditors means the creditor doesn't give any assets as a security. Unsecured creditors calls in advance, then arrears of dividend on cumulative preference shares, amount due to preference shareholders, amount due to equity shareholders. Now you take, at the time of distributing the assets realized amount to the liability side, you are upside down take, because in the liability side, if you see, first will come equity shareholders, but at the settlement time, if you see the format, the 10th category, the last one comes as a equity shareholder. In upside down, you take for distribution of assets realized amount, because in case if there is any remaining amount after settlement of all these preferential creditors, secured, unsecured, calls in advance, bank loan and other liquidation expenses, all the expenses met out. Now, in case the company is having little amount, means our liquidator is having balance amount, that balance amount only will be shared or will be given in the proportion of share capital of the members of the company. Now this is the format, liquidator's final account. But how the format says, or in what way you can learn from the format. You simply take the format says two columns, a receipts column and payment column. Receipts column means all the amount in what way we have raised. So receipts column says the asset side. So assets realized. Cash is directly we can take cash at bank and cash in hand. Marketable securities, bills receivable, trade debtors, stock in trade, freehold property, then all the fixed assets. So these are the assets. The fixed assets will be sold. From that we are getting the money that should be written in a receipt side. In another side you take payment. By having these amount, and that means cash in hand, cash in bank, then other amount realized from the sale of assets, all this amount we are having in our pocket, that should be distributed to the other people's in liability side in the balance sheet. Now you take distribution. First you should take the legal charges. Legal charges for what? Legal charges for winding up of the companies. Then cost of liquidation. Second one, liquidation expenses. Third, you take liquidator remuneration. Liquidator remuneration will be given in the questions. As per the agreement, we are calculating liquidator remuneration, maybe 2% or 2.5%. Either are will be given in question. Then preferential creditor. Preferential creditor means the transport or tow vehicles or any revenue, government revenue department payment. These are the preferential creditors. Then debenture holders. Then in case if there is any remaining amount, that should be given to the unsecured creditor. Again, we are having some amount, means we are distributing to the preferential shareholders. After that, we are having some amount, means that should be given in proportionate basis. If there is no amount, means the account will be closed. So until that, we are the remaining amount we are taking to settle the payments. So this is the format for preparing the final statement account. So now you take prepare liquidator final account statement. It is the problem given. Already I said, as per the agreement, liquidator remuneration will be fixed. So what percentage given in the question? Liquidator are entitled to a commission of 2% on amount paid to unsecured creditors. Who are unsecured creditors here? You simply say secured creditor and unsecured creditor. Secured creditor given loan rupees 1 lakh, bank loan rupees 1 lakh. Unsecured creditor, other creditors are unsecured creditor. Who is unsecured creditor? Simply they have given in the name of creditor. 3,50,000 is unsecured creditor. Bank loan 1 lakh is a secured creditor. Here we should take 2% on unsecured creditor as a commission to the liquidator. Then calls on partly paid shares were made, but amount due on 200 shares was found to be irrecoverable. So total number of shares, they said that how many partly paid shareholders who are here? 1,006% preference shares fully paid. See the tables in question in liability side. 2,000 equity shares of 100 each fully paid. 2,000 equity shares of 100 each, only 75 paid. So this should be taken. So total partly paid out of 100 rupees per share, only 75 rupees paid by the shareholders. So number of shares is 2,000. In the 2,000, 200 shares amount of rupees 25 is irrecoverable. Irrecoverable means it is not receivable. So only 1,800 shares are the 1,800 shareholders only are the person who is having 1,800, because one person may have one share, one person may have 10 shares. So we can get the fund of rupees 25 from only 1,800 shares. Remaining from the 200 shares, we cannot get the 25 rupees. So this is given in the question. You see the tables, asset side and liability side. This is the simply balance sheet. Asset side, fixed assets, machinery, furniture, current assets. So fixed assets and current assets, you divide in two categories. In fixed assets, machinery and furniture. In current assets, stock, data, and cash at bank. Next, miscellaneous expenditure, profit and loss. It is the loss in the previous year. You should not take this one for the calculation. So only machinery, furniture, stock, data, and cash and bank. These amount should be taken. These are the assets of the companies. Then in the liability side, preference shares rupees 1 lakh. You should remember the order of distribution. Otherwise, you should go from bottom to top. Income tax payable, creditors. Creditor means unsecured creditor, then secured creditor, then shareholders and preference shareholders. So these are the information given in the balance sheet. Under the balance sheet, we take company went into liquidation because company may get a huge losses every year. So it is decided to liquidate on 1/4/1993. The assets was realized. Already you know the asset side, what are the assets available. These assets are realized for the particular values given under the balance sheet. Machinery rupees 1 lakh 66,000, furniture rupees 8,000, stock rupees 1,10,000, data 2,30,000, liquidation expenses rupees 4,000. So these are the, you simply take machinery original value, how much original value given in balance sheet, you see the difference. Furniture original value given 10,000, but the 10,000 value furniture was sold for rupees only 8,000. Then stock was 1,10,000. Here the stock 1,20,000 in balance sheet. Here the stock was sold to 1,10,000. Data's original value 2,40,000. It was sold during the winding up 2,30,000. So liquidation expenses, cost for liquidating the company was rupees 4,000. So this information has been given. Now come to the next slide. Adjustment is given in the next slide. In the adjustment, simple statement of affairs. First you take the previous one. In the previous one, before answering to the questions, it is better to go through the questions in detailed way. Adjustment given. In the adjustment, they have given that 20,000 profit on 1/1/2006. The bills of rupees 10,000 has been mutually understood or mutually transferred. These are the adjustment given, but it's not given here. 1/1/2006, the profit was 20,000. Then bills of collection 10,000 is mutually transferred. Now you take simple statement of affairs. In what way we are receiving the fund? In what way we are distributing the same fund? We are receiving fund machinery 1,60,000. Then stock rupees 10,000. Why we have given in stock rupees 10,000 mean 1,20,000 given in balance sheet. Then assets was the same stock was settled 1,10,000. Balance remaining is a 10,000 because the assets has given for 1,10,000 and is settled. So difference is 10,000. Furniture is 8,000. Debtors 2,30,000. Then cash was 50,000. So total cash available from the realization of assets is 4,64,000. From the 4,64,000, how much we have to distribute? Remuneration should be given 2% on the unsecured creditors. That means simply we say creditor 3,50,000. From the 3,50,000, because liquidator is settling the unsecured creditor, so simply the commission given to the liquidator 7,000. Liquidating expenses 4,000 given in adjustment. Then preferential creditors tax should be given to the government, that is a preferential creditor rupees 10,000. Unsecured creditors 3,50,000. Then bank loan rupees 1 lakh. So this amount should be 4,71,000 should be settled by the company, but available fund is 4,64,000. So balance deficiency of 7,000. One way we can take available fund 464, payable is 471. We need further 7,000. Where from we can raise 7,000? Because already I said 2,000 shareholders paid only 75. Balance we have to collect 25 rupees from the 2,000 shareholders. Out of 2,000, 200 shareholders will not pay. Remaining 1,800 shareholders. From them we can collect 25. See, deficit 7,000. Amount receivable from 1,800 shares, because in question said 200 shares were irrecoverable. So we should collect from shareholders of 1,800. How much amount? 1,800 shares into 25. Total we are getting 45,000. But amount we need only 7,000. There are two options given. Now come for the conclusion. Total number of shareholders payable rupees 25 is 3,800. Surplus or number of shares. How many number of shares? So surplus amount available is 38,000 because we are collecting 45,000. We have to repay 7,000. Balance we are having 38,000. The balance amount should be distributed to the shareholders. So 38,000 by 3,800 shareholders. So 10 rupees per shareholder. We have to distribute the remaining amount in the basis of rupees 10 per shareholder. Liquidator is reducing or deciding to deduct rupees 10 out of his payable amount of rupees 24. So there are two adjustments given. Anyone you can take while preparing the final statement. First adjustment is we are collecting 45,000. Out of 45,000, 38,000 plus 7. We are collecting 45,000. In 45,000, we are paying 7,000. Balance we are having 38,000. That 38,000 should be distributed to the 3,800 shareholders. That is first option. Second one, 30. We are having 38,000 minus 27,000. So balance is 18,000. That means 20,000 plus 7,000. What is this? Adjustment 2 says that we are having surplus 38,000. Instead of 38,000, we should collect the 25 rupees from 1,800 shareholders. Instead of collecting 25 rupees and that means repaying rupees 10 each to the 1,800 shareholders. Instead of that, we can simply collect rupees 50. Collecting 25 and repaying 10 rupees. For that, we are collecting only 15 rupees. So, 1,800 shareholders into 15. The amount will be 18,000. Balance amount will be given to the 20,000 shareholders. Who are 20,000 shareholders? 2,000 into 10. 2,000 shareholders are fully paid. For them, we are paying rupees 10 each. So 20,000. 7,000 is a payable. That means we are already having the deficit. So that's 7,000. So total 27,000. So these are the two options. One is we are collecting 45,000. Out of 45,000, we are having surplus amount 38,000. Otherwise, we are deducting rupees 10 each from the 1,800 shareholders. Remaining amount only will be collected because 10 rupees from 1,800 shareholders we are not collecting means we no needed to repay. Only from 2,000 shareholders we are collecting and repay. So there are two options. Now come for the conclusions. First, before taking the tables, you come under the tables. How we have calculated deficit. Total payment is 4,71,000, but amount collected 4,64,000. Already we have calculated deficit or surplus in account 7,000. Amount received from notional calls 1,800 shares into 25. Because 200 shareholders will not pay, it is not recoverable. So recoverable shareholders are only 1,800. From them we are collecting 25 each. Total amount 45,000. 45,000 minus 7,000, we are having surplus amount of 38,000. That 38,000 should be given based on 38,000 by 3,800 shareholders because 2,000 shareholders are fully paid. 1,800 shareholders are partly, that means 75 rupees paid. Total shareholders are 3,800. How much, in what way we have to distribute the 38,000? 38,000 by 3,800 rupees 10 each we have to pay to the shareholders. So that's why we have given two options. Instead of collecting and giving rupees 10 to the 1,800 shareholders, we are deducting there itself. Then we are collecting only, instead of 25, we are collecting 15 from the 1,800 shareholders. This is what already we have discussed there. Now come to the tables. First table says that liquidator remuneration 2% should be given, that is given in the adjustment 3,50,000 into 2%. How much amount? Amount given in balance sheet. Number 2, liquidator expenses 4,000. Number 3, preferential creditors 10,000 given in question. Then unsecured creditors 3,50,000. From these 3,50,000 only, liquidator remuneration was calculated 2%. Then preferential shareholders rupees 1 lakh. Until this you stop here. You come to the another side, receipt side. In what way we received the fund? That should be given in payment side. Received rupees cash at bank already the company had rupees 50,000 in bank account. The company realized the assets. Machinery was realized. That realized means sold. Machinery was sold for 1,66,000. Then furniture rupees 8,000. Stock was mutually transferred. Instead of 1,10,000 stock has been taken for the creditors of rupees 1 lakh. So we are getting 10,000 from that amount. So the benefit of 10,000, debtors 2,30,000. These are the amount raised by the liquidator for distribution of another side, right side. So 50,000 plus 4,15,000, total 4,64,000. In 4,64,000, we distributed up to the preference shareholders 1 lakh. Balance amount is a next step. You take balance amount. How much we have to collect? Already we had the deficit of 7,000. After that, we should collect 25 from the 1,800 shareholders. But instead of collecting 25, we are collecting only the 15 rupees, because after collecting 25 rupees, we are getting 45,000. From 45,000, 7,000 we are deducting of liquidator remuneration. Then we are getting 38. 38,000 are divided by 3,800 shares. So for every shareholder, we have to pay rupees 10. So from the point of collection, we are deducting 10 rupees from the 1,800 shareholders, remaining 15 rupees collected. That amount is total is 27,000, already given in receipt side 27. These 27 is distributed to the deficit of liquidator remuneration, given 7,000. Balance 20,000 is given to the 22,000 shareholders. In case already you have collected, simply a second option, 25 rupees you collected. Instead of deducting 10 rupees from the point of collection, you collected 25 rupees, means how much the amount will be? The amount will be the same amount. How much? 45,000. Out of 45,000, you are paying 7,000 deficit of liquidator remuneration. Balance 45 minus 7 equal to 38,000. Out of 38,000, 2,000 shareholders getting 10 rupees, so 20,000. Again, in next step, you will write 1,800 shareholders into 10 rupees, 18,000. So there are two options. This is the preparation of final account statement. Next, we discussed about the, in case if you have any doubt at the end of the class, you can raise your doubt. Then you come for, this is what you have to know. So what are the steps given? Liquidator, first they are realizing the assets available in the company. They are adding all the amount of cash in hand and also cash at bank. All the amount will be kept in on hand. This amount should be used or utilized for distribution of the amount in the order given in format. Otherwise, you know, in the problems. So after distribution, in case any deficiency, means where from we can raise the fund. If there is no way to raise the fund, means the accounts will be closed. If there is any way to raise the fund, means where from we can raise the fund, we can raise only from the whom? From the shareholders, because those who have not yet fully paid among their out of their share capitals, from the dues amount can be raised or can be received and used for settlement. So this is a preparation of final account statement. Come for the next one. Already I said preparation of deficit or surplus. The simply preparation of accounts of deficit or surplus, we are telling about the liquidators statement. You take liquidators statement here. In what way we can calculate liquidators remuneration? Because I said there are two cases. One is liquidator remuneration may be calculated on 2% or 2.5% based on the agreement between liquidator and company. So here in the question given, a liquidator is entitled to receive remuneration of 2% on the assets realized. How much assets was sold? From that, 2% should be calculated as the remuneration. Number two, 3% of amount distributed among the unsecured creditors. How much amount distributed to the unsecured creditors? From that amount, 3% should be calculated for the remuneration of liquidator. Third one, assets realized was 70 lakhs, right? So assets was realized 70 lakhs. Now you take against which the payment was made. Already in the first line given 2% on assets realized. Assets realized is 70 lakhs. From the 70 lakhs, 2% should be calculated as a remuneration. First line, 70,000 into 2 by 100 equal to 1,40,000 is remuneration. Number 2, liquidator remuneration given. Now you take other content in problem. Liquidation expenses 50,000, preferential creditors 1,50,000, secured creditors 40 lakhs, unsecured creditors 30 lakhs. Calculate total remuneration payable to the liquidator. Now first we calculated liquidator commission on assets realized. Number 2, liquidator commission on preferential creditors. Who are preferential creditor given? Out of a preferential creditor, in the question given the 3% on the amount distributed to the unsecured creditors. So unsecured creditor means here preferential creditor and also secured creditors. So preferential creditor 3%, 1,50,000 into 3%, 4,500. Then you come for secured creditors and also calculate a remuneration for the creditors. Before that, in case the company is having full amount, you can simply calculate in the above format total amount into 3 by 100. There is no deficiency means you should calculate. So I am having only 10 rupees, but I should pay 11 rupees. So here I should calculate. That means liquidator remuneration included in rupees 10. So this is what they have given. Total assets realized 70,000. How much they have to pay? Liquidators liquidation expenses 50,000. You come here, calculation of amount available to unsecured creditor. First available amount for unsecured creditor should be calculated. For that you come here. Total amount available 70,000. Liquidator expenses 50,000. Preferential creditor given 1,50,000. Secured creditors is 40,000. 2% commission on assets realized 1,40,000. 3% commission on amount paid to preferential creditor 4,000. Amount payable is, we are having 70,000, but amount should be paid 43,000. 40, that means 43 lakhs 44,500. Balance we are having on hand 26,055. I mean 26 lakhs 55,500. But how much we have to repay? Unsecured creditor, how much here? Unsecured creditor is 30 lakhs. So in what way we can? But we are having on hand only 26 lakh 55,500. But it is a deficiency of accounts. In case we are having full amount, the commission will be calculated in the percentage of 3 by 100. But we are having deficit of a balance 26 lakh 55,500. So it is included the liquidator's commission. So we have taken the formula available amount into 3% by 100% plus liquidator remuneration percentage. That means 3 by 103. So the liquidator commission is 77,345. So total liquidator remuneration is 2,21,845. This is the format for calculating the liquidator remuneration. You take the second problem. In the same way, we are calculating liquidator remunerations. That means a simple final account statement. So already we have seen the C part of problems. You take preferential, it is a simple problem. Preferential creditor 25,000, unsecured creditor 58,000, 6% debentures 30,000. So you should know the order of distribution to the creditors. Assets realized 80,000, but we have to pay 25 plus 83, 113. But assets realized only 80,000. Expenses for liquidation 1,500. Liquidator remuneration agreed 2.5% on assets realized. Assets realized how much? 80,000. From the 80,000, 2.5% should be calculated for the liquidator remuneration. Then 2% on the amounts paid to unsecured creditor, including preferential creditor. So unsecured creditor 58,000, preferential creditor 25,000. For distribution of 25 and 58, 2% commission should be calculated to the liquidator. Now come here. In the receipt side, assets realized already given in the problem 80,000. So only the liquidator is having 80,000 on his hand for settlement of the huge amount. You come for the payment side. Receipt side 80,000 only. There was no other receipts. So you come for the payment side. So before the payment side, already I have written on the pen 80,000 available amount. Then payable amount 30,000, 25, 2,000, 500, 1,500, total 24,000. Balance we are having on hand 21,000. Right? That should be used for the settlement of unsecured creditor. How much unsecured creditor? Unsecured creditor 30,000. So all the settlement we had on our hand only 80,000, but payable is 30,000 for unsecured, 25,000 for preferential creditor, then 1,500 for liquidation expenses. So these are the amount should be paid. Then other things, after payment of all these things, liquidator remuneration also should be paid. So we are having 21,000, but we should pay only. We are having 21,000, but we should pay 30,000. So we are having deficit balance. So from the deficit balance, already we have given the format. Come to the payment side. Legal charges, there was no legal charges given. Second one in the payment side, liquidator remuneration. In what way we should calculate liquidator remuneration? 2.5% on assets realized. So rupees 2,000. 2% on preferential creditor and also 2% on unsecured creditors. So 2% on preferential creditor, 25,000 into 2 by 100, 500. So last one, 2% on available amount. That should be kept in one side. You come to the next one. Liquidator expenses given in question 1,500. Debenture holder is 30,000. Preferential creditors 25. How much you are having in balance? That should be used for distribution. So you are having balance is 21,000. From the 21,000, you have to calculate liquidator's remuneration. Balance amount should be used for unsecured creditors. So from the amount given 21,000 into 2% by 102. Already I said, in case you are having a deficit of a balance for the payment of unsecured creditor, you take the format of available fund into that means percentage of liquidator by 100 plus percentage of liquidator. That is simply we say 21,000 into 2 by 102. We are getting 412. It is the remuneration for the settlement of unsecured creditor. So 412. Balance is available. 21,000 minus 412 is 20,588. It is available amount that should be finally given to the unsecured creditors. It is the simple format for the final statement account. Now come for the unit number 5. Unit number 5 is a holding company. What is holding company? Hold means what? Hold means capturing particular things. Just you hold the tumbler, just you hold the glass means you are having on your hand. In the same way, holding the company means one subsidiary company is being held by another company. One biggest company is holding another subsidiary company. So this is the holding company. A company is the biggest company. The company A is an international company. It is a multinational corporation. It is holding a domestic company. For example, simply I have given some examples here. You come and see. So holding company is a present company that owns enough voting stock. The company which is having more than 50% of shares in another company, the company which is having more than 51% or 50%, the holding company is a, simply the company which is having more shares is called a holding company. The company which is, that means held by or kept by another company, that is another secondary or subsidiary company. A is a holding company, B means A is a holding, B is a subsidiary company, because A is having more shares on B. Who will take more decision? Who will dominate here? The company who is having more capital in another company. So that company will dominate, that company will take decisions, in all decision will be taken only by the holding company. Subsidiary company can accept, can obey the taken decision by the holding company. So this is what given. To make management decision, influence and control the company's board directors. All the directors are controlled by the holding company, all the decision taken by the holding company. However, holding companies that control 80% or more the subsidiary company voting stock, again, that means again the benefit of tax consolidation. This is the benefit of holding and subsidiary companies. Tax-free dividend for parent companies and ability to share the operating losses. Examples given in the bottom of this slide. Parent company. Alphabet is a parent company. Subsidiary company is Google. That means Alphabet company is holding the Google company. Simply we say Alphabet company is having more than 50% of shares in Google company. Then another example, Tata Group is having more than 50% of share capital in Tata Consultancy Services. Then parent company, holding company is Reliance Group, subsidiary company is Jio. So Jio is one company started by them. So the share capital more than 50% are kept by the Reliance company. So there are only two companies, one is holding, another one is a subsidiary. The person who is having more number of shares, that means more than 50% is called holding. The company who is having less than 50%, one person is having 70%, one company is having 70%, that is hold. Remaining 30% kept by the another company means that is a subsidiary company. Now legal requirements for presenting information for the members. So what are the legal requirement of the holding company? The holding company should submit balance sheet of the subsidiary company, profit and loss of subsidiary. Then they should report, they should submit the report, or copy of report should be given to the subsidiary company regarding board of directors. Then copy of report of auditors. This information, these documents should be given properly to the subsidiary companies. Other topic to be known before going to the exercise. What are the topics should be known? What is cost of control or goodwill? What is capital reserve or profit? Then capital profit or revenue profit. Capital loss or revenue loss. Unrealized profit in stock. So we can come for the problems you can know now. Steps in holding company. So cost of control or goodwill means after merging two companies, whether the holding company got profit or loss. Loss means goodwill, profit means cost of control. Capital reserve or profit the same. Calculating the pre and post acquisition of a profit. After joining two companies into one, whether the revenue profit and the capital profit should be calculated. What is capital profit means? Before holding a particular company, how much the company earned as a profit, that is capital profit. Prior holding. Post holding means after holding the, or after purchasing huge number of shares in a particular company, the company earned profit means that is revenue profit. Unrealized profit in stock means the stock which was kept by the subsidiary company, now it has showed, it has taken by the holding company, that was not used for sellings. So that is the unrealized profit in stock. Steps in holding company, finding ratio of holding company. So this is the steps you have to follow. What are the steps you should follow for the accountings? First, you have to find ratio between holding company and a subsidiary company. One company hold 70%, another company kept only 30% of shares, means what was the ratio, or what is the ratio? 7:3. In the same way, first you calculate the ratios between holding company and subsidiary company. That is the first one. Number 2, okay, in the remaining classes we start unit number 5. Okay, thanking you. Now we are closing the classes.